Making global project settings. In our previous lesson, we talked about interface, templates, and also views in Project 2007. Now we're going to create a new project. So clearly, the project needs a starting date to start a new project, and also a finishing date to finish the project. So before creating a new project, we have to make these settings. Only then will our project start at a specific date and finish at a specific date. Without waiting, let's open Project 2007. Click on Start, select All Programs, click on Microsoft Office, and then select Microsoft Office Project 2007. Now we have Project 2007 open. We can directly open a new project by clicking on File and then clicking on New. But starting dates and finishing dates will not be correct when we do it this way. To be very clear, the very first thing we have to do in Project 2007 is to set the start and finish dates. To do that, go to Project and then select Project Information. Now a small window opens. So we have a start date and a finish date here. We can set up a start date for a project by clicking on the drop-down. Look here, the finish date of our project has been grayed. This is because we have scheduled the project from the start date. When we select the finish date here, now see the starting date of our project is grayed. People may select the finish date, especially if they have a drop-dead date or simply a final deadline, beyond which the project cannot wander. At that situation, people will select the finish date option here. But most of the projects start with the start date only, so let's select the start date here. We can set a status date here. By default, no status date is set for the project. We can use a status date when we're tracking the progress of our project at regular intervals. We can also select the type of calendar needed for our project. We have 24 hours, standard, and night shift calendars. Depending on the type of purpose, we can select the calendar we want. Let's select the standard type of calendar here. Check the current date here. It's OK. So finally, click OK. We can save the project if needed. But at this point in time, we have just made simple settings for our project. We need to go on a little more, and then we will save our project. Now we've made a setting to start the project, but we haven't created any tasks yet. So let's start our project by creating a task. Creating a task. In the previous lesson, we talked about settings to make for a project. In this lesson, we are going to discuss creating our first task. Creating a task is the first step in a project. Now let's create a task for our project. Let's consider that our project is an IT project, and the exact work for us is to develop a site for a company. So let's create a task depending on this work. Actually, we can create tasks in different ways. The first method is really simple, and most follow this method only. This method is by typing information in the sheet area of the Gantt chart view. So here we can write a task. Another method is by using the Task Information dialog box. We can also import tasks from Outlook or Excel. We can even use a hyperlink to create a task in our project that represents data in another project. So these are the methods we have to create a task. Now, let's start creating the project. So this is going to be the Gantt spreadsheet. We can type a task here. We have the task name here, so we have to write our tasks here. As said, our project is going to be an IT type of project. So let's write the documentation needed for our project. We can even write documentation. So that will be pretty simple. We have written documentation. Look here, when I press the Enter key, see, Project 2007 automatically writes the duration, start date, and finish date. I am pressing Control-Z, undo. Let's again write documentation here. Now I am going to press the Tab key. Now we can change the duration. I'm not going to change this. I am going to press the Enter key one more time, and now the cursor comes to the next line. See here, we can see a small image in the Gantt chart, which represents that a task has been assigned on that date, and the length of this image defines the duration of that task. We can edit this task by double-clicking here. When I double-click here, see a dialog box opens up. We can edit the name, duration of the tasks, etc. I'm not going to change everything, so I am going to hit Cancel now. We can also double-click on a blank cell and we can open the same dialog box. This type of method is called writing the task in the Gantt view. We can enter any number of tasks in the Gantt chart. We have now created a project and we have some tasks. We have not saved our project yet. One specialty is there in saving. In the next lesson we are going to discuss saving our project.